Hi, loves. Welcome to a new episode of the AW Confidential podcast, where nothing is confidential. Today, we're sitting down with a visual storyteller who's changed the game, not just in hip hop, not just in film, but in how we see ourselves. Born and raised in the Bronx, Eif Rivera went from designing logos for legends to directing culture defining videos like Cardi B's I Like It, DJ Khaled's I'm the One, and over 20 visuals with 50 Cent. He is the mastermind behind the lens of one of our favorite shows, Power Book 3 Raising Kanan, For Life, FBI, and now he's a rising force in the feature film Killing Castro. He's proof that when you don't wait for permission, you create your own lens. This is what it looks like when a Latino director, Puerto Rican, doesn't just pull up a seat at the table, he builds his own empire. Hi, Eve.
Hey, you're right.
Hi. Ah,
One thing I want to say, thank you for having me. Um, with 50 cents is funny. Would you say 20 videos?
isn't it 20? About?
It's like
Less?
50,
It's
50.
like 50?
Yeah, we did
Get
a
out.
bunch. Yeah, yeah. We'll get into that, but yeah.
Oh, no, you'll have to get into that. Well, I'm a little up there in age, but 50. Okay. Well, first of all, I want to congratulate you on all your wins on the film. Did you start yet?
Film is done. It's
The film is
premiering
done. Oh, wow.
next month.
Oh, that's exciting. That's
Yeah,
awesome. Well, congratulations.
thank
Like
you.
I've told you before, you make our community proud. You
Mhm.
went from Bronx blocks to Billboard charts, literally. Like you have done so much with artists that we grew up watching. What was the first moment when you realized that your voice mattered in the industry?
Um, I guess when you start getting a bunch of calls, right? That's when you know you're kind of doing the right thing. Um, but yeah, that was it. I think, once people start looking at the work, the calls start coming in, and so you're kind of doing something right. You know what I mean?
Was
Yeah.
was there any particular moment, like any call that you were like, oh shit, like I can't, like this is happening, like this is the one.
Yeah,
I mean,
well,
they're all important, but
you know what's funny? So so I'll give you a quick rundown, and then I think I can give you the oh shit moments of when I thought like, okay, I so when I started in the Bronx, you know, born and raised over by Yankee Stadium, and I was always doing logos and stuff and album covers and for a lot of like rappers and you know from Big Pun to Young Jeezy, Snowman, like a bunch of stuff. And then I was printing up shirts, a lot of promo shirts, a lot of the artists, a lot of the labels.
oh wow.
And then from there, I was just like, I guess this is the time when like the DSLR cameras came out, the little Canons and 5Ds and 7Ds. So I picked one up and then I just started like messing around with it, right? And then I was like, okay, this is cool. I need to learn this. Because art is just, like video is just moving art, right? Moving images. And so it's all how you composite everything and compose all your framing and stuff. So, you create art with that. And then I think I remember the first artist who I kind of grew up with from around the way was Fat Joe. I asked him to shoot a video. I shot it. He laughed at first because he was like, "Get out of here." I was like, "No, no, no. I want to try this." And so I did that. And then it came out about a week later. I taught myself how to edit and everything and do special effects and all that stuff. Um, because I wasn't going to go to school for that and waste years and years and money and all
So
this.
you're self-taught. You didn't go to
Yeah,
school
yeah,
for
everything is
Oh
self-taught.
wow.
Everything. I had to learn everything from scratch, learn the camera, lenses, and I still don't know everything, but I know enough.
None of us
Um,
do.
and so I shot Joe's video, came out, and then I remember it got like, I don't know, a few million views within that first week, which he wasn't used to. And I was like, oh shit, okay. That was like my first like, okay moment. And then later that week, I got a phone call at the time from Shaw Money XL, 50's old partner, who said Dr. Dre wants to work with you. And I was like, this got to be bullshit, right? Um, but it was true. So I flew out to LA. I worked with Dre and Snoop and all those guys for about maybe 3 weeks. We're shooting a bunch of videos and stuff.
That's an oh shit moment, Dr. Dre
Yeah, yeah.
and
I think it was
Snoop.
oh shit when I went to the studio to meet him. And that's when he came out with the black shirt, his muscles and stuff, right? And I was like, oh shit, Dr. Dre, right? Um, then I came back to New York after I worked with him, and then I get a call that 50 Cent wanted to meet me and go to New Orleans and shoot a video with him. And I went down there, and it was funny because I have this thing where like I get it, you are a celebrity or whatever the case is, but in the moment, you're just a person to me that needs to do what I tell him to do, right?
Right.
And so when I met 50, he was testing me a lot of the times. What lens are you using? What's the angle? And this, he knows the stuff. And so when we finished the video, he said to me, where are you staying? And I'm just like, why do you want to know where I'm staying? Right. Because at the time I was down with Joe, which was Terror Squad, which 50, G Unit and Terror Squad were not, they were beefing for years. And so I find it kind of weird. I was like, why do you want to know where I'm going and where I'm staying? But I was like, yeah, I'm staying over here. And then we stayed up. My flight was the next morning, and we stayed up at my hotel room to about 4 or 5 in the morning playing music. He was just playing me all his music and ideas he had for them and stuff. So I knew we had hit it off. Um, and then I guess after that, it was history because then I think he saw something in me. He saw the drive. He knew it wasn't about money. And I tell you, when he knew it wasn't about money, we were in Vegas shooting that was the first time I'm shooting a video, like for him specifically. The other one was he was a feature it
Okay.
was on someone else's song. So this time I'm shooting him and we're in a hotel room in Vegas, and somebody brought him $2 million. It was like something with Floyd Mayweather, the boxing, whatever. And the money had fell over, and then I helped him pick it back up, and then we were just kind of filming the money because he doesn't use props; he uses real money all the time.
Wow.
So, you know, I went home a day later after we worked, and he knew something was different about me. He said that most people, when they see that amount of money, they just like freeze up. They don't know what to do. And he was like, with you didn't ask me for any money. You didn't freeze up and you didn't do any of that stuff. And then he knew that it was because of the art. He knew that I was so focused on the visuals of what I had to do, right? And then we ended up doing like, I don't know, 45, 50 videos. A lot of it was like he and I running and gunning, right? Just like wasn't like professional stuff. It was just like, excuse me, it was just me kind of learning with him. Um, but the reason why I stuck by him was because I started to shoot other artists. But the reason I stuck by him and got real close to him because it was the first time, like, so he was doing a mixtape one time for this company called That Piff, his website. Excuse me, my voice is getting cracky. I don't know why. But... So he's doing his mixtape, and they were paying him for it, right? It was like something like 35, 40,000. And they paid him, and he told his office, like, make sure Eif gets that money. And that was the first time, like, I was like, yo, this is like 40,000. Like, this is for real. And I was like, that was like an oh shit moment. Cause I was
Okay.
like, yo, I never really had money like that in my hands, like at one cantazo, right? Like a one shot,
Yeah.
40,000. I was like, oh shit. And then we just, he was loyal to me. Everything he said he was gonna do, he did, and vice versa. And then our friendship just grew. And now we're like brothers. We literally we we've pretty much FaceTime every morning. Like
No.
he gets up like 6 in the morning, whatever. I mean, he would be another part of the world, and it would be whatever 7, 8 in the morning there, and it's 3 or 4 in the morning here. And like he would FaceTime me in the middle of the night. I'm like, bro, you got to check your time because I'm trying to sleep.
There's a time difference.
Yeah. So, but we still maintain that. We still talk about future work and stuff we're trying to do together. But yeah, that's a
Wow.
really
Thanks
good
for
friend of
sharing
mine.
that. That's really personal. Thank you.
Yeah.
So,
But
I think these stories are great, right? You work with Dr. Dre, with Snoop, you become um, part of 50 Cent Circle, and you become friends and you build this, bond, this relationship. And it's beautiful to watch that part of the journey. But I believe there's always that, not the grind. That word is so overused, but the shit that people go through when they're trying to create something.
yeah, the work you got to put in for sure.
Right. So I'm sure you've had those moments, and I'm not going to ask you what they were because each creative is different and they all have some sort of challenge or just grunt work to do. But during those moments when it wasn't, about the shine and the clout, like when you were alone and you were trying to get a project off its feet or trying to pitch something, what kept you going? Because I know for me, people see the interviews, they're like, oh, how did you get this interview? I'm like, you didn't see all the no's I got or all the
Right.
ghosting I got. You're
Right.
just seeing what's in front of the camera. But I've had days where I'm like, I'm crying. I'm like, should I keep this going? Because I can't get the talent that I want. People are not like
I've
listening.
seen some of your videos where you
You
get,
have?
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't? Yeah. This means a lot to me.
Yeah.
So what kept you going during those times? Because I know for me, it's my purpose. I know that I was born to be a storyteller and to tell stories that inspire people, that want
Right.
people to be better and do better and go for it. Whatever it is, whatever your dream is, just go for it because we only get one life. So what kept you going during those moments? Because we all have them.
Yeah, no, well, I think the most important thing is you kind of hit it on the head where you keep going, right? It's like, I mean, shit, I've gotten plenty of no's, right? I mean, I still get no's. It doesn't,
I'd rather get a no Eve than get a ghost. I hate when people ghost
yeah,
me.
no, for
Ugh,
sure. I mean, when people start ghosting you, you just know, like, okay, cool.
you're not for
Listen,
me.
I think at the end of the day, it's right. So you get all the no's, you get the people that ghost, but it's cool. It's like, okay, cool. You're gonna see me again somewhere, and you're gonna regret that you ghosted me, right? And it's happened. Like I get the calls like, hey, my bad. I'm sorry, that one time. And I'm like, yeah, sure. But in the back of my head, I'm like, F you, right? Like I don't, it's you already showed your colors. So I know how to deal with you now. You know what I mean? I know how to be careful. Um, but I think for the most part, I think that a lot of people, and I know a lot of people in the music industry and everywhere else, I think people get comfortable. People get complacent, they get comfortable, they get kind of used to being where they are, and they're afraid to come out of their comfort zone. They're afraid what people are going to say, right? They're afraid what may happen or what might not happen, right? And I think if you let that part go, if you pretty much just be like, I don't need people to, judge me or whatever the case. I'm gonna just keep doing it until like, look, I might not be good now, but if I keep going, I'll be great. Hopefully, right? I'll be great. I'll learn. Everything is experience, right? And so you keep going until you get to that moment. And again, like I was just telling someone the other day, I was like, you don't. If someone didn't believe in you and stuff like that, it is what it is. I was like, you don't burn that bridge. You just know how to deal with that person moving forward, right? And
Mhm.
um and in a weird way, when that person comes around, it's an offer or something they're trying to do, then use that. Use that person. Like there is no I know what you did or what you didn't do for me, and you're trying to do this now. Fine, I'm taking what it is you're giving me. I'm gonna take it because I earned it, right?
Right.
And so you just, I think you just got to keep moving and you got to believe in yourself. I mean, you see these stories all the time and memes and whatnot. And it's like, you always say, I wish I was doing this, or I wish I had back then, I should have did this or should have did that. And so why not go for it? Right? What is the worst that can happen? You might lose some money. Money's made to be gained and lost, right? Denzel said it the best. You can't take it with you when you're gone. So
Back.
you kind of you take your chances. You take your chances. And I think that if you move forward with a good heart, right? And you believe and you're kind to people, whatever, I think things gonna happen for you. And it's all timing, it's all, you know, I mean, I've had plenty of those moments, where I just sit there and I'm like, you know what? I leave it up to God. I leave it up to God and whatever he has for me, whatever he has planned for me, I just got to roll with it. So it is what it
I'm
is.
I'm learning that for sure.
Yeah.
And you've created all these visuals. You've directed all these visuals.
Yeah.
And I can't go through the list, but I mentioned Cardi, Khaled, 50, Nikki, J. The list is endless, right? It's like it's honestly it's like a hall of fame. But how does your Latino culture show up in your vision, in your work, even when it's not in front and center? Because you direct, just like the collective, they're not all Latinos, obviously. So, but how do you show up? How does your culture like show up in your
So
work?
a few years ago, I got introduced to the Latin market. Um,
You've worked with Jay, right? Jay Balvin?
yes,
Yeah. So
yes.
it's
I got introduced to the Latin side of music from Nicki Minaj because Nicki Minaj, I was doing a bunch of videos with her and we got along. And so they asked her to be on a remix on a song with a young Bad Bunny, Faruko. It was Creepy Kush. Creepy, creepy, creepy. Remember that song? It's called Creepy Kush.
I gotta
You
look that
remember that?
up. I can't remember that song.
If you Google it, it's called
Okay.
Creepy. It's Creepy, Creepy, Creepy Kush, 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 Kush. You heard it, trust me. It was a
Okay.
hit. It was a hit like I don't know how many years ago, maybe 5 or something like that, 6. No, maybe more. I don't know. But anyway, so Nicki Minaj was a feature. I had worked with her. Travis Scott was also a feature. I worked with him. He's also on the song. But it was the first time I met Bad Bunny and Faruko. And so we did the video. And then Bad Bunny was like, we hit it off. And I mean, again, this was like early. And then he's like, let's do another video. And then we shot another video in Miami. Forget the name of that one. Um, and then the third time that I saw him was Cardi B. So Cardi used to be an extra in a lot of my videos. Like she was background
Oh.
extra. So talk about someone who wanted it. She was always there, in the videos, in the backgrounds, a dancer, just trying to get seen, right? And I remember when I got the call from Atlantic Records about her album, they said like pick one of the songs you want to do. And I was like this one, right? And it was like, why that one? Because you will mira, because the
I
producers, the
haven't heard that
commissioners,
that phrase in so long.
I know, the commissioners were black. They're good friends of mine, right? Kareem Johnson. He was like, oh, you just want to do because it's mira, right? And I'm like, no, this song is gonna go. And he was like, I think at the time they didn't, no one except for Craig Cowman, the CEO of Atlantic Records, knew that he had something special. And I remember seeing Craig Cowman on set and we talked about it. And I'm like, no, I know what this is, right? Like I know the song. Um, And it reminded me, I kind of wanted to reference some of the stuff from the movie I Like It Like That, which was right years ago, like
I
5 6.
interviewed John. I
Yeah.
remember that movie. Yeah, I remember that.
So, and they told me they didn't have much money for it. And I was like, it's cool. And we shot I Like It Like That for we shot it in 7 hours, the whole thing in
Wow.
Miami. Um, and it was because you got three big artists and everyone wanted to hurry up. But I think at the time, Bad Bunny was like he was getting there, but he wasn't all the way there. Balvin was already there. He was, working with Beyonce and all that stuff at
Yeah.
that point. And so I shot them, and 1.7 billion views later. But I think that was the first time like I kind of inputted the Latin side of me with all the dancing and all the moving around and just kind of gave the video a lot of movement. But I remember a specific time where Balvin and Bunny were talking in Spanish. And I said something to them in Spanish, and they both turned and looked at me. And it was like, "You understand Spanish?" And I'm like, "Bro, my last name is Rivera, right?" But the strangest thing, a lot of artists in Puerto Rico don't know I'm Puerto Rican. I haven't
What?
gotten, yeah, I haven't gotten the Latin love. Um, it took me a while to get some of that. But I mean, I started doing Anuel videos, Carol G. I started shooting a bunch of them, and then recently I shot Daddy Yankee's,
Yes, I love
uh,
that song.
his retirement, right? Like he just came out of retirement. I shot a single, but that's a whole other story, by the way.
That's God's intervention right there. That I don't know. That song is
Yeah,
powerful.
no, the record's powerful. It's a great record. That specific video, um, he was shooting on, I think it was Saturday, and it was another director shooting it. He wanted a block party. He gets there and it was like a house party, like a backyard barbecue. He didn't want that, so they canceled the video. And then I get the call from his manager, who just became his manager, is a good friend of mine's, calls me like 8 o'clock at night. He's like, "Yo, can you do this tomorrow?" I'm like, "It's 8 o'clock. Tomorrow's Sunday. Like, how am I gonna close the street? You know what I mean? Like, where am I gonna get the people? Like, this is crazy." And so then he puts Daddy Yankee on the call so that maybe he's thinking Daddy Yankee can convince me, which he kind of did. Um, but I told him, I was like, "Look, we are running and gunning with no permits. If the cops shut us down, you have to accept it for what it is. It can be a loss." So reached out to other friends. They found a neighborhood in Bushwick that they close off every weekend. So the street was already kind of closed off. And so we wouldn't have to be bothered by the cops. And then I think we made a call to like a casting agent who called, maybe about 100 people came out, and we shot the video. Like that's all
Wow.
neighborhood craziness. Like if you ever see behind the scenes, people were filming him on the street and everything. That's what it was. I was like, we can't hide it. What it is we're doing, we're just running and gunning, and that's how it came out. You
Wow. I
yeah.
would never have guessed that by the visual.
There's always a crazy story to a video. Always,
Oh, I
always.
bet you have some crazy stories.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things that not surprised me, but I guess I was like, really? Um, but that shook me a little bit was that I read that you started illustrating logos and now you're direct, and you mentioned the t-shirts and whatnot, and now
Right.
you're directing for, major talent and shooting your first film. It's the first one, right? Killing Castro?
First movie, yeah, yeah.
What does that evolution teach us about reinvention?
The whole process, you mean?
Yeah, because you went from illustrating logos
Yeah.
to directing the music videos, now films,
It's
you know,
television and film.
television.
So
So,
I think so you're saying what was the process like, or how was what was the question exactly? I'm
well,
sorry.
what is the biggest lesson for us or
Oh,
that you took about reinvention? Because this is reinventing. It's
yes,
different mediums.
yes. Um, take the leap of faith. You know what I'm
Ooh.
saying? It's if you don't know it, you don't know it, you learn, you read, you go on YouTube. I mean, it's accessible. You have master class you can subscribe to, or if you don't have a subscription, maybe you find someone that does. Um, the process for me, from music videos to television to film, I think it was when we talk about religion and everything else, it was like God always has a hand in what you want to do. And even though you might want it today, it took me
Yeah.
over 13 years before I got a chance to get my first episode.
Wow.
So, yeah, I was doing videos for like 13, 14 years. And I finally get the opportunity. It wasn't even an opportunity. What it was is a meeting. So you get, every time what people need to understand is when you do for example, television show, you have to meet with so many people, right? So, for example, I know RZA from the Music Days, right? From Wu-Tang. And he had a show, Wu-Tang on Hulu. So he's like, hey, I want you to do an episode. I'm like, cool. So he's like, put your people in play. And what that means is tell your agent, hey, reach out, set up the meetings. Um, what people don't understand is that, okay, first meeting would be Hulu. You meet the executives of Hulu. So you're in a Zoom with three people, two, three people. Then you meet with the production company, which at the time was Ron Howard's company, which I think it was Imagine. Meet with them because they're the producers on the show. So you got two, three people there, right? So we're like at six people now, right? Then you have to meet with Disney because Disney's the parent company.
Wow.
So now you have another three people there, right? And now you're at you know
And this is time
right,
because, yeah, for sure.
right. So you're about 18 people now. You're just constantly, you're 16 people. Whatever. You're just there. Like my math is terrible. Sorry. Um, but you're there like with all these people, and then you have to meet the showrunner of the show, which is the main producer of the show, and like it's their show. So by the end of the day, hypothetically, you're going to like 18, 20 people, and all it takes is one person to say no. I don't think he got it. I don't think he's for the show. And as much as you want it, it's not meant to be when it doesn't happen, right? And that happens more often than you know. Like there's been a ton of shows I'm like, oh my God, please, I want this. And then you don't get it, right?
Yeah.
Um, but it's all timing, it's all, what's meant for you. And so getting to the movie, it was my first movie, Killing Castro. Um, there was another director who had it that had to step away. Then they contacted me and a few others. So I had to pitch on it. I had to convince, people who are putting up $16 million for this movie that you're the person to do it. So you go out there and you pitch yourself and you sell it, you sell yourself pretty much. You get the movie. And then it's like, okay, can you cast? Can you get the actors? That's the next thing. So luckily for me, because I did all this stuff with videos and TV, I had a name. So every actor that I went after and I spoke to on a Zoom about the roles that I envisioned for them having in a movie, they were like, yo, we're in, right? Pacino, um, we tweaked the script to kind of feel like him, like the way he speaks, like so he can read and see himself in the role. And so we sent it to his agents. Agents read it. He wanted to have a meeting with me. Um, you know, you can only imagine first time movie director. an Academy Award winner, multiple Academy Award winner, right? You could have his entire team, his agency, management, handlers, whatever you want to call them. Everyone's there, and they're like, are you sure you want to make it with this guy? This guy's never made a movie. Are you sure you want to do that, right?
Yeah.
And he took a leap of faith, right? So we had a meeting, and it was only going to be a 30-minute meeting. We were just going to meet up, talk about the script. And he tested me. He tested me quite a few times, talking to me about the movies he's made and telling me stories. And right in the middle of the story, like just when he has you locked in, he just kind of turns it on you, says, "Hey, so scene 49 in the script, could you explain that to me?" So it's to throw you off and to see how sharp you really are.
Wow.
So it's like me telling you a story, and then I'm like, so then what's gonna happen is, in scene 48, can you tell me? And then you're like, whoa, like he's talking about Scarface, and then and you're like all excited to hear what's next, like what he's, as he's telling the
And
story.
then you have to shift.
And
Like,
right, you have to shift, and you have to like, be ready for that. So that I think that was so that he was trying to see if I was just like a fanboy, like I'm just there sitting and smiling and I just want him in the movie. And he wanted to see if I was really a director, if I was really gonna um tell the story and direct him. Doesn't matter that he's this veteran actor, I have to direct him and he needs direction. He's not gonna walk, no actor's gonna walk on a set and be like, well, what am I doing? Right? Like, I mean, they'll ask you that and you're supposed to have an answer for them, but it's not for them to figure out. They need a starting point. So you need to walk them through what it is, how you envision it, because they are they're your tools, right? And they're going to work for you.
right.
They need to know where they need to hammer the nail, right? Like it's that sort of stuff. So with him, half hour turned into 4 hours. And
4 hours. Wait, 4 hours on a Zoom?
no, no, no. So
It was a meeting?
I met him. Let me backtrack. Yeah, it was a meeting in person. So he wanted to meet in his favorite restaurant in the city. So for a week, I was sick to my stomach. Um, like I got to meet Pacino, right? Like pretty much like I had to wear diapers, right? And so I get to the city, I'm like 2 hours early, and then I'm like drinking crazy coffee. I'm like nervous. I go in the restaurant like half hour early. I go in the restaurant and I tell the hostess, you know, hey, I'm here for Alfred Pacino, like literally under his name. So she's like, yes, right this way. And she takes me to his table. He's not there yet. I'm a half hour early.
Right.
So I put my bag down and I'm about to like grab like my booklet. And all of a sudden I hear, there he is. And it's like, I turn around, he's like right there. Like he was a half hour early. So I was like, oh shit. My heart just dropped. I was like, oh my
Did,
God.
did you watch Scarface as a kid?
Yeah, I've seen pretty much all his movies.
Okay.
So it was crazy. It was like, I think I think this is part of um, understanding who you are, right? This is thing, I forgot what they call it, but it's basically when you think you're faking it. Your body and your mind automatically says, like, wait, why?
Psychosomatic.
Huh?
Yeah. Psychosomatic when you're,
Yeah, whatever you call it.
yeah.
But it's like you're sitting there going, wait, am I faking this? Am I really doing this? You start
Wait,
doubting yourself.
you mean imposter syndrome?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I know all about that.
So you start going through that shit and you're like, wait, what? What am I doing here? Like, this is crazy. And 4 hours later, like we're eating ice cream off the let me back that up.
Well, I mean,
During
you
hold on,
you
look, during
obviously have something of Al Pacino sitting there with you
well,
for four
listen,
hours.
during production, I was telling producers we were gonna shoot in the summer. I'm like, I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna have um ice cream with him. It's gonna be summertime. I'm gonna get some beach chairs. I'm gonna order ice cream truck, and I'm gonna sit there with Al eat ice cream. And they were like, "You're crazy! Like, what are you talking about?" But in the restaurant, 4 hours later, and my producer ended up coming at a certain point. And when Al left, he goes, "Congratulations, you had your ice cream." And I said, "Oh shit!" Like I put that out in the universe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it happened. Um, we're friends now. We write to each other. We talk. He calls me his Bronx brother. He's from the Bronx. Um, when I wrapped him out the last day filming, I went home and cried for about 2 hours because I am the first Puerto Rican ever to direct Al Pacino in a movie.
Wow.
So when you talk about all these famous directors I've worked with them, Martin Scorsese and Coppola and all these other people, you're there with them now. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And can't nobody take that away from you.
That's
And
what
so,
I'm that's what I'm saying. I mean, how could you it is a big deal and it is something that you should be absolutely proud of because there's plenty of kids, there's plenty of adults,
right.
looking at you like, you know what? He came from where I'm from.
Yeah,
You
and
look like me
all self-taught.
and
Self-taught,
self-taught.
you
So
you just
for
gotta believe.
so what would be your best advice for someone that's still in that logo phase, if you know what I mean? Like it
There's a bunch of kids. It's funny. Like, I'll jump out. I've seen one time I was in the Bronx and I was driving. I went to get gas, and then like I was driving by and I saw this kid filming these other kids that were rapping, and I jumped out the car and I was like, "Yo, let me hold your camera." I said, "Let me." And like at first it was like, "Man, get out of here," right? Because they're like, "Who are you?" Right? And then the kid did a double take, and he started like jumping. He started like crying, telling all his friends like, "Yo, this is you got to understand who this is," and blah 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 blah. And so I grabbed his camera and I was just kind of teaching him some stuff. It was fun doing that. So I think what I want to tell them is like, I always say like try to find that one person. Um, so if you're a cinematographer and you're directing this person, just keep working with that person and use that person to for you to get better and use it on your reel, right? Like so when you need to show people, like experiment, take that person, experiment, do what you got to do. Like if you're both on a grind it out together, right? And just keep doing it. And something's gonna pop off. For me, my person was 50. He found
mm,
me, he experimented with me, and I was experimenting with him. And when he started doing television, I was right there and I had my opportunity because I've done enough for him to tell the network and the studio execs and the showrunners, like, hey, give him a chance. Let him, I know what he's capable of doing. So they did, and it worked.
so you've done all this work. You're I think we spoke a little bit about it. You're very humble, you're very grounded, but you're in this world of blitz and, you know, for I hate using the word, but power. Um, how do you keep your soul while shifting the frame? Because you are, and I don't know you, this is the first time we've interacted, but you still have your soul intact. That's what it feels like to me. How do you preserve that? Because in the world that you're in, it's not easy. And you mentioned God, and you mentioned there were just a few things that I picked up on, and your energy, and I feel like your soul is still intact. How do you keep that?
I think in the beginning you could get caught up, right?
100%.
There's a lot of bad influences, a lot of things you walk into, rooms you walk into, and you're like, whoa, right? And I think I think it's your like you said, your soul, your will, right? What are you willing to do and what's the price of it? Are
But
you
what keeps you grounded?
what keeps me grounded? I mean, it's I think it's family. You know what I mean? I still have, my mom is 81, going on 82, not in the best of health. She lives with me. I take care of her, right? I have a brother who's autistic who lives with me, right? I think it's those things that keep me grounded, that you know, you can't allow yourself to get caught up in the weird shit, right? Let's just call it the weird shit. You can't get caught up in that, because you have responsibilities. And I have a lot of responsibilities that I have to take care of. I have a son, who's in college and stuff. So, you don't want to let them down. You know what I mean? By you falling into the traps. And that's what we'll call them, also traps.
No, it's very well put. 'Cause it's a dark web. It's a dark web.
I think if you're young, it's easy to get entangled into that, right? I think as you get older, well, if you're older, I think you just kind of like, look, luckily for me, when I was younger, I did everything. Like, I was in the streets, I was doing all the bad shit, I was doing the good shit, I was getting into fights, I was hanging out in clubs, I was popping bottles, like doing all that crazy stuff. And then as you get older, you just kind of like been there, done that, right? And I
Mhm.
I, I don't want to be that guy, grown ass man still going to clubs and trying to front, and
Yeah.
for what? Been there. I mean, I'm a homebody. I like to stay home. I get friends come and say, yo, let's go out. And I'm like, to go where? And do what? You know, and
I
not
get it.
because like, oh, you're old or you're getting boring or whatever the case is. It's like, no, it's just like, um, I know what that leads into,
Yeah.
all right, or what it could lead into. And unless you're looking for that night, then I'd rather just stay home. But it's I get it. Let's go out, let's go hang out, and okay, cool. But I still have to limit. I have a limit to how far I'm going to go, because I know I have to be home because I have people depending on me.
So many people see the fame and the followers and the money, and they don't see the building blocks. What's one thing about the hustle behind the camera that people just don't understand?
The work.
Mm,
It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. People only see you party time, hangout time, but they don't understand. For example, doing a show, a television show. Um, do you hear my dog breathing?
I
Like,
do.
should I kick him out? I got
No, it's fine. What kind of dog is it?
the Pomeranian Husky, but he's like a mid-size, so he's pretty big. Yeah, you gotta chill, bro. Um, so going back, it's the work. Um, doing the television show, people don't realize, like, so remember I told you have all this work meeting the people. You have to know the show. You have to read the script. The script is black and white. It's just paper, right? With ink. You have to visualize what that's going to be. You have to do the homework. You have to go on different, films and different sites to look at what it is, how you want to build this thing out, right? The look of it, the feel, right? Then you start your prep. So now you're prepping for example, if I'm doing Power, those are about 11, 12-day shoots, but then you have 9 days you have to prep. So those 9 days, every day, you're out, you're looking at locations, you're going back, meetings, meetings, meetings. Why this location? Why that? What do you want to do? You have to
Wow.
look at the wardrobe, the props, like it's everything, right? It's so much work leading up to, and then you have to go to work. I mean, you're working already, but then you have to go to work. So it's a very long process. Um, in particular TV show, but just in general, it's the process of like, how do I go from A to Z? How do I accomplish that? And you can't skip a letter. Like you cannot. Like you have to make sure it's all buttoned up and tied up. And that takes a lot of time. And so you need the time to you have to be focused. You have to be all that fun and play and all that is gonna have to wait.
Oof.
You got to really want it.
No, that's for sure. I believe you. Trust me. What is it? I walk the talk. Um, so you said in an interview, I can't remember which one it was because you don't do many, that it took years of perseverance and an undying love for the craft.
Right.
So what does perseverance look like when no one's clapping behind the scenes?
Um, the result,
Mm,
I think, I think for me, it's like, okay, you're not clapping or you're not there when I'm trying to, I think at that, but you know what? You do it for you.
I
You're not
love
doing it
that.
for them.
I love that.
You do it for you. You're
100%.
not doing it for them. And I think that the claps will come. And if they don't, so what?
You
Because
don't need anyone's validation, right?
you don't need it because you put the work in. And so the people usually that talk that may try to tear you down, may not like your stuff or whatever the case is, what have they done?
Mm.
Can they do what you do? Right. And like you kind of like, you don't let it bother you. It's like you look at them and it's just like, you haven't done what I've done. You're probably never going to do what I'm doing. So good luck, hope to never see you again or whatever. Right. Don't wish them bad. Good luck.
Focus on the
Peace.
work.
Yeah.
That's it.
Focus.
So one of the things that I love to do at the end of interviews
Right.
is drop what I call an AW truth bomb. I started doing this recently.
AW Truth Bomb.
Truth bomb.
Okay.
I'm gonna go easy on you though. If your younger self was
What you
watching
froze? You froze up. You said you're gonna go easy on me. Get
God's intervention. If your younger self
mm.
was watching your career right now, what truth would he most need to hear to believe that the future is possible?
um I think I mean for me it's just everything happens for a reason.
Mm,
Everything like it's like whatever's gonna happen, it's meant to happen. Um, but stay the course. I mean, I there's really it's people say it all the time, right? Like if you go back in time and you could change something or you could do
I
something
wouldn't.
differently, it's like it's funny because you see the movies all the time, but it's like, what, if I go back and I change something and that changes something in the future, right?
100%.
And if it changes something in the future, then what does that look like? Would that then affect my journey, right? Um, so I don't know. I rather say, look, what happened in the past happened in the past. You look forward to the future, and every day live your day as if it's your last, but cautiously. Be nice, be kind to people. You know what I mean? You never know what can
You never
happen.
know what, yeah, that is very true. But the one thing I can tell you is that that kid from the Bronx, that little boy,
Mhm.
he must be very damn proud of you right now. So congratulations.
Probably, I don't know if you saw, which was a proud moment for me, when I got the street named after me in the Bronx,
Yes.
right? And I had my mom there. We That literally happened a block away from where I grew up. And I
Oh,
remember telling her, like, I told my mother that day, I really didn't care it was for me. It was more for her. I was telling her, look how far, like, we left our mark on the block. We left the Rivera name on the block, right? And you know, I'm grateful for that. we had it tough. We just for people out there who think like, oh, we probably had working parents and he had everything given to him. No, both my parents came in from Puerto Rico. My father had a bad eye. Um, we were on welfare. I'm gonna give away my age now, but we were like government cheese, powdered milk. We would wait for summertime to get the free school lunches, right? My dad died in front of me when I was 12. So it was five brothers, one sister, and none of us let my mom down. Like everyone now, all my brothers live like they all have great jobs. They have houses, they're married, they live in Scarsdale, they live further upstate. You know, everyone has a house, everyone worked hard. No one let my mom down. And her biggest pride is that when she hears her brothers and sisters, my uncles and aunts talking to her, they say, you should be very proud. None of your kids came out fucked up. You know what I mean? And
And I think one of the most special parts of that is
yeah,
that she's here to see it. I lost my mom 2 years ago, so she can't see any of the I well, she does.
yeah, yeah. I mean, they see it. They see it. I find myself at times just saying what's up to my dad or my sister who also passed away, and I'm just like, and I think they look over me. I think we all have angels, and so I
Yeah.
think it's really more about not letting them down, also not letting yourself down, because the worst thing you could do is have a dream and not um, focus on it.
Only get one life. Eve, you're awesome. Thank you so,
Okay,
so
I'm okay.
much. But well, thank you for like lending your time, for sharing so much of your story. I know you don't do interviews, so I'm super grateful. Please share with our community how they learn more about Eif Rivera. And they should remember that
I
name.
think I
And
think
you got
listen, I
well,
think
no, you got to give us something on Killing Castro. What I
so
mean,
Killing Castro, we just found out, well, I found out Monday officially. It's not announced yet, but I found out and I shed a tear because I got a beautiful email from Toronto Film Festival. So we're gonna premiere it there, which is huge.
oh
Um,
wow.
it's like super. I mean, it's like you only have like certain big festivals, like you have
Yeah.
Sundance, you have Toronto, you have Cannes, and I think you have I forgot what the other one is, but
The
Venice.
Tribeca? Tribeca's not part of that?
I mean, Tribeca is Tribeca. That's not like what I mean huge. I mean like a place where you're gonna have buyers go.
Oh,
The
okay.
Amazon, Netflix, Apple, all these people, right? So like
Toronto is a big one.
Toronto's
Yeah.
huge.
Yeah.
So out of 9,000 films, we got into the category of industry selections, which it's only 10 get selected. So we were one of them, and so I'm super happy. So I think the goal is to throw a big ass party in Toronto. All the actors are coming. We're gonna do red carpet and all that. And but yeah, the movie, we're right there at the finish line.
When is the festival?
September
September. Oh,
4th
so
and the
wait,
8th.
that's coming up.
Yeah, next month.
Oh, you must be over the moon right now.
I mean, it's like I'm happy and I'm nervous at the same time, but also, it's funny because when we first announced it, it's only been a year and a half. People are like, oh my God, when's it coming out? Because people's attention span is this big, is these days with social media. So it's like, guys, it's only been a year and a half, like relax. So I think once we go up there, hopefully we get it sold and then it's out of my hands. It's up to whoever's going to put it out, Amazon, Netflix, whoever. If someone wants to put it in theaters, it's really up to them. It's out of my hand. Um, but I think people are going to really enjoy it.
Okay.
It's a
Well, I
short
can't wait to
story.
watch.
It is, um, how they say a day in a life. With this in particular, it's 5 days. And people waiting to take my head off. Certain people thinking like this is a whole Castro biopic, and you better get it right. And it's not. It's 5 days in part of history where Castro came to the United States after he took over Cuba. Came to the US to speak at the United Nations General Assembly, right? All the world
Right.
leaders. And while he was here, the US government was like, he's got the US government, the mafia, Cuban nationalists, everyone was like, yo, we got to kill this dude. We can't let him make it to the UN. And that really happened. And so I remember when we announced it, and I was like, yeah, Castro and um, what do you call it? Malcolm X, they were like, that never happened. And I was like, oh no, it did happen. And I think
Wow.
it's a very important part of history that's been swept under the rug. I think with African Americans and also Latinos, the fact that this happened, the fact that they met, the fact that Castro stayed in Harlem for 5 days, the fact that Malcolm X set that up. Um, so this movie's really all about that. And then there's this attempt on trying to kill him. That's why it's called Killing
Wow.
Castro. So it's
Well,
a thriller. So like,
can't
yeah.
wait. That sounds like a powerhouse, like a
And Pacino's a
impactful.
mastermind. People think like Pacino's playing Castro. I'm like, no, he's
No, I never.
82
Well, I
years
didn't think
old.
that.
Yeah. But he's the mastermind. So he's the guy pulling all the strings. You know.
Well, congrats. Whatever happens, you got this done. You sat down with Al Pacino, and I'm sure we're going to be watching the movie either on a streaming channel or films. Who knows?
Yeah.
But share with us what's your Instagram. I mean, I know because I follow you already, but
It's my name, Eif Rivera. So
well, Eve, you're awesome. Thank you for being here. Thank
yep,
you for your time and sharing your stories.
yep.
And loves, let Eve's story be the reminder. Your past doesn't limit your path. From sketching in the Bronx to directing global hits, he built his legacy one frame, one risk, one truth at a time. You don't need permission to be great. You just need a vision and the guts to keep going. So thank you, Eve, and thank you, Loves, for joining us on this episode. Talk to you soon.
Thank you for having me.